All right, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. Still kind of chilly out there, isn't it? I was just looking at the thermometer. Where's Robin? I have to change the microphones from the last segment. Everybody had different microphones last segment. All right. Whenever you hear or read or hear in the news, every single morning, because we do the news, there are stories of people who have just done horrendous things, and you have to wonder to yourself, wow, how is this possible? I mean, I can understand accidents, I can understand weather phenomenon when I can understand when a boat sinks or something like that, but when somebody intentionally hurts somebody else,
Yeah.
and when you think about throughout history, somebody like Adolf Hitler, he always is the person we go to, but he's not the only one, and maybe one of the biggest ones. Actually, able to persuade people to believe that hurting other human beings, treating other human beings as less than human beings, is acceptable. How does that happen? I mean, think about the way African Americans were treated in this country back in slavery days. I mean, I'm not trying to be political on you, but I'm just trying to figure out how is it possible that we as human beings don't understand. We don't even want to hurt animals. Um, anyway, when an author is a deep thinking author and has the talent to put together a novel and explore some of these same things, it becomes an interesting read. And I have such a book. It is called Unscrupulous. Perfect title for this subject, isn't it? It is written by our guest, M.E. May. The M stands for Michelle, and I hope she's okay with me saying that to you. She studies social and behavioral sciences. She is an in-depth researcher into why human beings commit heinous acts. So I am all ears for this one. Plus, of course, there's a great story that she's written as well. It's a Circle City mystery novel. M.E. May. Good morning, Michelle. How are you?
Good morning. I'm just fine, thank you.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from the far northwest suburbs of Chicago.
Ooh, where it's
It's a little
chilly.
cooler here.
It's chilly here, but probably not. You'd probably be happy with our temperatures. Let me tell you what.
Actually, we feel like we're having a heat wave because it was in single digits for a while, and it's up to 20 degrees today.
20,
nice.
20, not too bad. Well, I better not complain. Ours is 48 right now, so yeah. And I don't know if you know who you talk. I mean, where you're talking to. You're talking to Florida, just so you know. So.
Yes.
Well, anyway, thank you for being on the air with us. And normally Robert and I will interview guests for about 10 minutes when there's a novel, and not because the novel isn't good, but because the novel, you want a reader to get a certain idea, a listener rather, to get a certain idea of what a book is about, and then read the book. But in your case,
Right.
because of your experience and your research, I just wanted to be able to speak to you longer. So I hope you're okay with the longer interview,
No problem.
the large size, in other words. Well, I guess the first thing we should do is talk about the subject of the book. This is a child is missing, and it's intentional. How that's the worst. Well, it's not the worst. It's one of the worst things that can happen, isn't it?
Yes. We all know that children are innocent, especially the very young children, and we just hate to see anything happen to them, and we try our best to protect them no matter what. In this novel, I have a 5-year-old who's been kidnapped after her mother's been murdered, and they are going to harvest her organs for transplant. And it's all a matter of greed, and this organization that is from out of the country, and how they have recruited people in the United States to make money by taking children for either bargain harvesting or prostitution or slavery.
My goodness, organ harvesting.
It's also disgusting.
I thought child prostitution was bad. This is I don't. It's equally
Yeah.
bad. I don't want to say one is worse than the other, but at least one you may live through. You're not going to live through organ harvesting.
No.
Is this a true thing? Does this really happen?
Yes, it happens much more than you think. And I did research the FBI database on this one because they do have a task force that looks into that. And if anybody's ever interested, they can go to the FBI database. Just Google FBI and you'll find it. And there are all sorts of things you can learn there that are sometimes people think I'd really rather not know. But
I know,
you
I
need to
know. Yeah.
One of the things that sparked this book was that I noticed on our newscasts here that in Chicago, we've had a lot more attempts at grabbing children than we've had in probably the whole 13 years I've lived up here. And it kind of concerned me because I thought, are all these people just perverted people wanting to have sex with children, or are these people actually these traffickers that we're hearing about?
And we don't know. And not to be political with the gun issue, but I mean, are Chicago citizens allowed to carry guns?
There's been a lot of debate on that, and actually in Illinois, they did pass the conceal and carry law last year, and so yeah, they are allowed to carry guns as long as they're concealed. But of course, most of the people that are getting guns that are actually committing crimes in Chicago aren't getting them legally.
Oh yeah, I'm sure of that.
Sure.
I'm sure of that. I was just thinking of the mom walking down the street with her baby in a stroller, and some guy steals it from her. At least she could do
Do something. Shoot the guy.
I don't know. It's just I don't know what to do about the world. So that's one of the reasons we wanted to talk to you at length is because of you've studied this. What? Okay, if we were to look back in time, like it seems like there's always been heinous acts, but when you see a motive for it and money, I can't imagine. I would rather starve. If somebody said to me, "Hey, I could get you out of your poverty. If I'm living under a bridge, I could get you out of your poverty. All you got to do is steal a child. You'll be set for the rest of your life." I would never do it.
No.
I can't imagine doing this.
Right.
So what makes
Right,
people do
I
this?
know. Well, that is a very complex question because there are some people who just straight out don't care. You have psychopaths and sociopaths who have no conscience. They have no nothing in their DNA that allows them to care about another person. A psychopath can pretend like they are in love. They are very good at learning how to show people that they love them even though they don't feel it. Not all psychopaths become serial killers or murderers or whatever, but a lot of people that you see around are very narcissistic who, and unfortunately a lot of politicians are psychopaths because they all they care about is their being. I mean, not all of them, but a lot of politicians are.
Yeah.
And we just have this idea that a psychopath is a crazy, person, but they're not. They're very able to fit into society in many different ways. Con artists are psychopaths.
Oh, you
They
right.
don't care about a person.
Right.
Well, this kind of story has a huge magnitude associated with it. You have to do a lot of research. You must have cried at times when you were writing some of the scenarios in the book.
I do that a lot. And there are some scenes that are in some of my other books that I took out that were really heartfelt, but they didn't really fit. But yeah, when I think about it and when I read certain scenes, it does tear me up because I do have a heart and I love people and I feel like we should all be treating one another with respect, no matter what religion, color, or any of our sexual preferences. I just feel like if everybody just treated other people the way they want to be treated, then it'd be a better world.
How is it possible that I don't know if I'm right about this, but I'm going to do a figure and I'm at random. 90%, maybe more than 90% of the people probably believe exactly like what you just described. I don't know if I'm right or not. I mean, when you look at the news, it's almost like most people don't think that way, but I think they do. I think most people are. I mean, there's a lot of people on this planet, 8 billion, and we're all rocked to disbelief when we read the stories of a very minuscule few.
Right. And I think that the news media really needs to take more of a responsibility for not terrorizing us with this. Because when you think about a terrorist, there's someone who puts fear into people. And sometimes I feel like the news media has become a little bit of a terrorist organization, except that they do bring up the good things at times.
Well,
but I just wish that they wouldn't push so much of that, like that's how we've gotten this
okay, well, let me ask you this.
attitude about Muslims, because
right,
everybody thinks that all Muslims are terrorists, and they're not.
Absolutely.
So we have to look at the majority of the people in whatever class they're in or religion or whatever are good people. And I do believe what you're saying, that the majority of the people are good people, and we just have to push that idea instead of this idea that a certain class of people is all bad.
So let me ask you this question, because we established that one motive might be greed, which implies money.
Right.
You mentioned that you think that the news media is at fault, at least partially, and I don't disagree. And so let me see if we agree on this. I think that one of the motivations, in addition to money and greed, is some kind of a moment of glory or a moment of fame. And so the news media plays a role in that by putting the pictures, putting the names, telling the background stories. You know, the kid who bombed the people in Boston. I mean, he got his picture on the cover of the Rolling Stone, for goodness sakes. So I'm wondering if that isn't as much of a incentive to do horrible things as money might be.
Well, I think in cases of especially mass murders like you saw at Columbine, you've got two kids who really don't have any good self-esteem and that sort of thing, but they've decided that they're going to go out in this blaze of glory and that they're going to have their 15 minutes of fame, more like 15 weeks, but, you know, or 15 years or whatever. But I don't even remember their names now.
Good. We don't want to. We don't want to remember their names.
Right. I don't want to glorify them, but in their minds, they think that this is the way to go. And they're basically committing suicide.
Oh yeah, we have a local story right here, and right now and it was a murder, and there was several young people involved in it, and it was settled a few years ago, and right now there's a retrial of one of the young people. Well, I do the news here. And for the listeners, I maybe you don't like the fact that I don't tell that story, but I don't tell that story. I don't care. I don't want that young lady's name, face, anything associated with. I don't want to give her any more anything.
Right.
Michelle, can I ask you to hang on? We have to take a little break. The book.
Sure.
The book is what we want to focus on as well. So on the other side, let's do that a little bit. We really haven't told the story inside the book. We have sort of kind of a little bit, but I want to do a better job at that. The book is called Unscrupulous. Okay. For the listeners who know how Robin and I do this, we are taking more time with M.E. May today simply because of her expertise. But she's a talented author, and we need to focus on that a little bit as well. The book Unscrupulous, a Circle City mystery novel. When we come back, this is The Source.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. It'll be mostly cloudy Thursday with a high in the 60s to near 70. Cloudy Thursday night with some rain late, lows ranging from the mid-50s inland to the low 60s on the coast. Friday rather cloudy and becoming windy with periods of rain and a thunderstorm in the morning, then a brief shower or two in the afternoon, the high 72 to 76. Saturday mostly sunny, high 72 to 76. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Central Florida Eye Institute is the area's leader in laser vision correction. From high-definition refraction surgery and LASIK vision correction to custom cataract, glaucoma, and diabetic treatment, you can count on Dr. Crowley and his effective, friendly staff to provide you with the quality care you deserve. Call 352-237-8400 for an appointment or more information. That number again is 352-237-8400. Looking forward to service your vision needs.
Enrich your life at Golden Ocala Golf and Equestrian Club. Here, century-old oak trees surround stunning homes, the finest resort-style amenities, and a stately clubhouse. Our exceptional golf course will host the 2016 Coates Golf Championship presented by R&L Carriers. And here you can savor a luxurious lifestyle that's second to none. Call 352-369-6969 for more information on our available real estate options and to schedule a home tour.
At Ameris Bank, we understand that there is no purchase more exciting than the purchase of a new home. We are dedicated to helping you find the mortgage that meets your needs and giving you the personal attention you deserve. Our mortgage options offer a variety of benefits, including up to 100% financing, down payment assistance, and expansive credit qualifications, all with the competitive rates and exceptional service. Call Ameris Bank today or visit amerisbank.com to learn more. We look forward to serving you.
Ameris Bank is an equal housing lender and member of FDIC, a loan subject to credit approval.
9 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Kind of a cool morning. By the way, this segment of AM Ocala Live is being sponsored by Dr. Thomas L. Crowley. He's a board-certified ophthalmologist, and his offices are right near from where we broadcast. He's not in the Paddock Mall, but just adjacent to it in the professional park right behind us. He is at the Central Florida Eye Institute, and they have every level of eye care that you might consider. Anything from something as basic as an eye exam and eyeglasses, to diabetic eye treatment, to cataract surgery, LASIK surgery, retinal surgery. Go to the Central Florida Eye Institute for all of your eye care needs, and say thank you to Dr. Thomas Crowley for sponsoring AM Ocala Live. And the number over there is 237-8400. Our guest on the phone, calling in from northeast of Chicago, I think she said, is M.E. May, and the M stands for Michelle. But when you're looking for her book, she uses her initials, M.E., so look for that. The book is called Unscrupulous, a Circle City mystery novel. If you didn't catch the first part, just recapping, Michelle is a researcher into why humans commit heinous acts, and it is in line with what the book is about. So, Michelle, thank you for waiting through the break and for coming back with us.
No problem.
Okay, so give us a movie trailer version, if you will, of the story in Unscrupulous.
Okay. Well, the story in Unscrupulous is about a young girl who is kidnapped. She's a 5-year-old child who is kidnapped by some people who have an organization that is involved with human trafficking. They sell children for slavery overseas as well as in the United States, and for prostitution, as well as this child being targeted as someone who is going to be harvested for her organs. It's pretty intense, and so we have the lead detective, who is Sergeant Brent Freeman, who, if you've read other novels, you've seen him before. He is going to be assisted by the FBI, and he also has a kind of a subplot of having this jealous girlfriend. So our poor detective is going to sit through an awful lot of stress in this one, but of course he prevails in the end.
A jealous girlfriend adds a little spice to the story, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
Well, this is what makes this a series, because I use a different lead detective in each one, but you do see all of the detectives at some point in time through each book. So you've got those personal issues as well as the professional ones.
And you do have the wisdom of older children in your book also, which I found very, very refreshing. It's not all about the adults.
Right. I just really enjoyed writing the character of Jack and having him kind of be the hero in this one with what he does. And we won't do any spoilers here, but
we won't go there.
Just know that Jack is a very strong and wonderful character.
It says here you have a dog named Iris, a husky.
Yes. She's enjoying this weather.
I bet she is.
I mean, you know what? The one thing about a dog, a dog wouldn't even do a heinous act. No animal would do.
No.
I mean, you think about in nature. I mean, animals can do pretty bad things, but usually it's in the name of protecting themselves or of just simply getting food.
Mm-hmm.
Right, survival, and unfortunately, for some reason, as we call ourselves intelligent creatures, we also do not have any problem hurting another person or another human being for no really, I would guess you'd call it a good reason, except that it's for selfishness. I mean, who needs to kill a child or sell a child to make money? There's plenty of other ways to make money in this world without doing such a horrible thing, or an unscrupulous thing, as we call it.
Absolutely. So Circle City, how many books are in the Circle City mystery series?
Unscrupulous is the 5th novel. The others, Perfidy was the first one, and it won an award for Best First Novel here in Chicago. And it's about a woman who goes missing, and the main character is actually Mandy Stevenson, who's the daughter of the head of homicide. So this is where you meet her, but you also get to know all the police officers that have to be involved in the case. The second one is Inconspicuous. It's about a serial killer who was abused as a child. So that pretty much tells you what could happen to someone who is horribly abused by an adult. And the third book is Ensconced. It's about a cold case, and the person who's the lead detective is Tyrone Mayhew, and he gets to revisit a case that he did when he first became a detective, in which a woman went missing, and it was based on an actual case in Indianapolis of a woman who went missing and her car went missing, and she still has not been found, but this happened in 1997. And I keep going back to the Indianapolis government site to see if she's still missing, and she is, unfortunately.
Oh, my goodness.
Then the fourth book was Purged, and it really deals with some religious conflict and how this one group of Wiccans, a Wiccan coven, has been targeted, and the serial killer thinks he's an angel from God that has to purge the earth.
Oh, you really, how do you have a bright side to you and your family and friends when you're writing something so dark but actually helps others realize that this is actually happening?
I guess I'm just always been a positive person, and always do try to find the good in people. And I grew up in the 60s, and there were things like the Charles Whitman. He had gone up into the tower in Texas and murdered people by sniping. And it turned out he had a brain tumor. So we do know why he did that. Then there's Charles Manson, and I grew up with things like the Kennedy assassinations and et cetera. But that's, I guess, what sparked me into trying to find out why. But as I've gotten older, I've found that there's not always a good answer to
Not
that
always a
question,
good answer.
or an answer
Yeah.
to that question.
And I always
That's
say,
what we mostly want to know.
and I always say, to protect yourself, you have to remember that unreasonable people can't be reasoned with. You can try talking nice. You can try. You have to sometimes just defend yourself.
Right.
Michelle, thank you
And
for.
I'm the only person that's in charge of me. I'm the only person that can control whether I take everything negative in the world and let it defeat me, or push it away and find the positive things.
You have a well-done website, by the way. Let me tell the listeners where to go to look at your website. It is MEMAY-mysteries.com. And the only thing I guess I need to know from this point is, how do we get the book? Do we go to that website?
You can go to the website and click on any of the books, and they'll take you to either Amazon or to Harlequin, because Harlequin did pick up the rights for the mass paperback size.
Oh, congratulations.
So if you prefer that size, you can. Thank you.
Okay.
You can go there. The first 3 novels have already been published by them.
Michelle, we're out of time, but thank you so much for being on the air with us. That was a wonderful interview. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. Oscar nods are out, and The Revenant racks up the most nominations, 12, including Best Actor for Leonardo DiCaprio, up for Best Supporting Actor.
Christian Bale in The Big Short. Tom Hardy in The Revenant. Mark Ruffalo in Spotlight. Mark Rylance in Bridge of Spies. and Sylvester Stallone in Creed.
Mad Max Fury Road picked up 10 nominations, including Best Picture. The Martian up for that and 6 other categories. British actor Alan Rickman, known as Professor Snape to Harry Potter fans, has died after a battle with cancer. He was 69. And the world's biggest jackpot finally has winners, at least 3 of them.
Winning tickets were sold in Florida, Tennessee, and in Chino Hills, California.
Fox Radio's Tanya J. Powers. Fox News. We report. You decide.
You know the story of Hansel and Gretel, where Hansel left breadcrumbs on the trail so they could find their way back home? That's what you do when you use public Wi-Fi, or shop online, or give out your social security number at your doctor's office or the bank. You leave breadcrumbs on the trail for someone to possibly steal your identity and take everything you own. At LifeLock, we use proprietary technology to detect signs that someone has picked up your breadcrumbs to take what's yours. And unlike free credit monitoring services that only alert you, we have a dedicated resolution staff to help clean things up if all those breadcrumbs get messy. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses. But with LifeLock, you can keep doing the things you do every day and feel better protected. Isn't it time to help protect yourself from someone eating your financial lunch? Plans start at $9.99 a month. Right now, you can get 10% off. Go to lifelock.com and enter promo code NEWS.
Today in Florida Ag News from a Southeast AgNet, Zippy Duval, a third-generation farmer, was elected this week to lead the American Farm Bureau Federation. Duval told reporters at a press conference who he was.
And what you'll know about me is I'm a workaholic. I dairied for a living. I know what it is to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week almost. It seemed like it was that way sometimes. You'd be walking around almost sleeping. And I've carried that into my business life as Farm Bureau President at Georgia, and I will carry that into my life as American Farm Bureau President.
Duval, who served as president of Georgia Farm Bureau for 9 years, becomes the 12th president of AFBF.
Family farms across this country that have the moral responsibility to feed a nation and assist feeding the world.
He will serve a 2-year term as AFBF president, taking over from Bob Stallman, who retired after 16 years. To hear more of Duval's comments, go to our website, southeastagnet.com.
Did you know that the beef checkoff means many different things to cattle producers across the country? Producers say their checkoff is valuable for a variety of reasons, including
it grows our foreign markets.
The beef checkoff helps me talk to consumers about beef production.
It spreads the word about the benefits of beef.
Develops innovative new beef cuts.
It improves beef quality.
Find out about these and many more ways the checkoff makes a difference for you and everyone else who makes that checkoff investment at mybeefcheckoff.com. Paid for by Your Beef Checkoff.
And during day 2 of the Florida legislative session, the Senate passed a key water policy bill that will help protect and manage Florida's water resources. Afterwards, Florida Commissioner of Agriculture Adam Putnam issued a statement saying this session we have an opportunity to pass meaningful water policy reform that will help meet the needs of our growing population and thriving economy. He said this proposed legislation is a much-needed step forward that accounts for a long-term, science-based and strategic approach to protecting our water. To learn more about it, go to our website, southeastagnet.com. Randall Wiseman, Southeast AgNet.